Well, we got a late in the day filming today because it's actually the 4th of July and I just straight up didn't feel like getting ready earlier to film. And then I went to go see a movie and then I went out to dinner and then I went out for ice cream and now I'm back home and like the lighting's basically gone, but I hate using my ring light's light. So we're just gonna like pretend that it's better lighting than it is. And also it's just a TBR video today. It should be a quick one. Yeah, also sorry for the weird upload schedule. For the past couple weeks, actually, I should apologize for that. But also like, do I need to? Not really. I will be back on my Tuesday, Friday posting schedule next week. I'm potentially thinking about going down to one video again for the weeks, except for the weeks that I would do like TBR and wrap-ups. Like then I would have 2 videos. I'm just messing around with it. I don't know. Right now, I just kind of feel sometimes like I'm like trying to play catch up and there are just other things that I want to be focusing more of my creative energy into. And that, like, if you've been watching some videos of mine recently, I've been dropping little things here and there that I just, you know, I'm pushing myself to get that done. Yeah, I might be dropping down to 1 video though a week, but for now, you're still gonna get the 2. So you got my TBR today and you're gonna get my wrap up on Friday, which, spoiler alert, is gonna be short. It's only 6 books, so I don't have a lot to talk about. But let's go ahead and quickly do my July TBR here. So, of course, my first 2 on my TBR are always my 2 book club picks. So first up, I have Deconstructing Delilah by Allison Rimes. This one is Cheyenne and I's Smut Club pick for July. Our live show, I don't remember what date we had set. We set some date, and it'll be hosted on Cheyenne's channel. We did end up canceling our live show for this past month because when both of us got back from Book Bonanza, it was honestly just busy. I DNF'd our book club pick. Cheyenne wasn't even very far into it, so like we might touch on June's pick in this July live show, but for July specifically, this is our pick. And I don't really even know, Dorian, you're blocking a little bit of natural light that there was. So thank you. I think it's like our heroine is really deep into like some religious way of thinking, and then I think the hero is trying to like pull her out of that a little bit. I honestly don't really know. We will see as we read it. Next up is The AntiHero by Sarah Kate. So this one is Nikki and I's Out of Bounds book club pick. This one will be on Nikki's channel this month for this live show, and also we had to cancel our live show for this one as well because I was with my nephews and I was not going to make it home in time, and so I didn't get home in time in order to jump on this live show. So we're also going to be touching on our June pick and our July live show dates. So if you read June's pick, come to that show ready to chat. Dorian, please don't scratch that right now. People can hear you in the background. Honestly, I don't really even like know the full synopsis of this one, except that I think the hero is a preacher's son, I want to say, but he's like, you know, a naughty preacher's son. I don't know, guys, whatever. I want to read those 2, and those are for my 2 book club picks. And next up now, Dorian. Now the rest is just free reading for me because here's the thing, I am in a horrible slump, probably the worst slump. This entire year has been really hard reading for me. I just have not been finding like books that I've just been really excited about. I haven't been reading as much this year and I'm just feeling really slumpy right now. So I truly just picked out books. I try to not like repeat books too often on my TBRs either, but this month I just truly picked out what like I really want to read right now. So first up on this list is going to be The Air by Sophie Lark. I've had this on a couple of TBRs now at this point, but I'm really, really hoping that I can get around to it this month now because I want to get going in the Kingmaker series. I loved Brutal Birthright, and I'm really thinking that I'm going to love this series. It's a spin-off. It's like the 2nd generation from the Brutal Birthright series, and this first one follows the son of the main characters from the last book in the series, and I'm just excited to get into it. I've heard nothing but amazing things about the entire series, and I think too what'll help me with like being in a slump is being back with characters in a world that's like familiar but not, because obviously it's all new characters. Like I didn't know this hero because he wasn't like in the parents book, but it's still in the realm of something that I'm familiar with, and I'm thinking that that's really gonna help me. So I really want to get started on the Brutal Birthright series, and this is like Mafia Hogwarts Society. I don't know, but I want to get going in it. Next up is another one that has been a priority for me and I just haven't gotten around to it, and that is Deliver by Pam Godwin. This is the bind up of the first 3 books in that series. I will honestly probably read it on my Kindle, but I just did this that way I don't have to like insert the picture in because I'm lazy. And it's the first one in this. And this one is a very, very dark romance. If you know anything about Pam Godwin, she writes a lot of dark romance. And this one, our hero is actually kidnapped by our heroine and is like taken to become like a bit of a, you know, sex slave, I think, and like she trains him, like she's a master or something, and then is like training him, and he's like and what is he, like 18, and I don't know how old she is. I am honestly very intrigued because whenever I read captor books, it's always the hero capturing the heroine. I don't think I've ever read a captive where it's the other way around. So I'm really intrigued by that dynamic. And Pam Godwin was talking about this a bit on a panel at Book Bonanza that I was listening to her talk about it, and I'm just really excited to dive into this series. So I'm putting Deliver back on the TBR. I actually started it a couple months back, and then I had like other books that I had to read for like commitments and things, and I'm just ready to be able to read whatever I want to read. So if I want to read this, then I want to be able to read it. Next up is one that I'm actually started on, and that's No Tomorrow by Carrie and Cole. So I remember I was like, I need like the angstiest, grittiest, just like toxic, like I just need something that like I can't even articulate. And Cheyenne was like, you got to read No Tomorrow. And I've had this ebook downloaded for a long time. Like, again, it was like a free ebook a while ago. I downloaded it, have never read it. And I've kind of been avoiding rockstar romances for reasons. But I feel like I'm in a good space right now where like I can pick one up and like kind of be good with like not, you know, having like brain wires crossing. I started this one. However, here's my thing. I'm finding it a bit slow right now, so I'm actually going to pick up the audiobook. My Hoopla has the audiobook, so I'm going to download that. I'm going to be dog sitting for my parents this month, and when I'm doing that, I'm walking their dog a lot because she needs a lot of walks, and I listen to a lot of audiobooks then when I'm walking her. So I am downloading the audiobook for this, and I'm going to try to give that a jump start. So it starts out with our hero being homeless, playing the guitar like in a park, and our heroine who like goes to her job, and she just is like kind of set in her life but doesn't really have a lot like going on outside of like work and like going home and going to work and going home, and she sees him and she's very like intrigued by him and his lifestyle of just like how he just goes wherever he wants. And yeah, it ends up being their romance. I don't really know much past that, but this is like, so many people love this book, and it's like one of Cheyenne's literal all-time favorite books. So I'm hoping that it picks up for me. It's just been a little bit slow, but also I think that could be my mood too, because like I said, I've just not been feeling anything lately. Next up, I have actually, so this is my other like required reading of the month, but I'm really, really excited for this one, and that is Carrie, Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. One of my friends, Buddy, read a book together like pretty much every month, and we actually took a bit of a break for a while. Like, what was it, last month? I think with like June, it was just ended up being a busy month, you know, it's summer, and so we took a bit of a break, but now we're getting back, and this was her pick for us to read, which I'm really excited about. We've both loved all of the Taylor Jenkins Reid books that we've read before. Honestly, I think this one is a tennis player, but I don't really even remember, like, know what's going on in this book, except that I think she was a tennis player and she retired and then she's coming out of retirement. I don't know, but I'm hoping that maybe even like a genre change up will be like good for me. So I'm going to be reading this one. Actually, I need to be started on it. Allie, I hope you're not watching this video and know that I haven't started it yet when I should already be 95 pages in. So we'll be reading that one. Next up, another one that I started, but like I'm probably gonna restart it because I literally only got like 2 chapters in before I left back in June for Book Bonanza, and that is Leave Me Broken by KB. So if you remember last year, I read the first book in this series, and that was Break for Me. And I read it because it's a coach athlete, and it's a huge age gap. And so this is like a taboo one. This is for the taboo people. If you're like not okay with age gaps, then don't even like listen to me talk about this book, because this is a big age gap, and it's between a high school volleyball player and her coach. I think she's like a senior in high school. I don't really even remember though. But anyways, last summer I read the first book and it left on a cliffhanger. I thought it was a standalone. It was not. And then I actually thought that it was just a duet and that the second book was not supposed to come out until August. And then I randomly stumbled upon Goodreads and realized that there was a second book out already. And I was like, well, shit, I'm ready to read that. So this is the second book in that series following the same couple. And it's a toxic romance. Like, it's not, I think a lot of people compare, or not a lot of people, because this is not like a very popular series. Like, I don't think I've heard anyone else talk about it, but I think it's compared to Off Balance frequently because of the age gap in it, where like these two don't deliver, Rhea and Kova, for me. I was very, very frustrated by this first book, but it was one that it's stuck with me long enough that I'm like, you know what, I need to keep going in it, that even though there were things that frustrated me in the first book, like people finding out, some people finding out and like not caring about the two of them being together, which I'm like, this is literally not allowed, and like no one cared. But I am excited to keep going because these two, like, again, they're just like not good for each other, but they're so fun to read about. So I'm really excited to keep going in this second book. Next up, I want to read Rule by Cassandra Robbins. I don't know what's the series called, but I read the one Power, which was like the mom's fiance's romance, and this one is a student teacher. I think it's like is it a principal, headmaster, and student? I don't know. Y'all know I eat that up. And honestly, I don't really know anything else about it. If it's anything like Power, it's gonna be a hot, smutty time, which honestly, maybe that's also what I need. Maybe I just need a little no thought, no plot, just hot in my life. Oh, I didn't even grab this one. I have this one on my shelves, but I'm too lazy now to go out and grab it. And that's Black Sunshine by Karina Halley. So I finally read a Karina Halley book last month. Absolutely loved it. It was my favorite book that I read last month. And I want to keep going with more of her backlist. And I picked this one out specifically because, again, I think I need like a change up a little bit. I need something a little bit different. I need something to like hit me differently. And this one is a vampire romance. So our heroine in this one, I think she was kidnapped by regular humans when she was a baby and raised as a regular human, and now she's like 21, or she's like about to turn 20 or 21, I think, and she finds out that she is a vampire, and the hero, I think, like comes into play and is trying to like help her discover that before she like turns into a vampire and could be like a danger to people around her or something. I said, I just need something different. I can't keep going the way that I'm going right now with just like regular romances that they're just not hitting for me right now. So I want to try vampire, see if that like switches it up for me. And normally I don't really like vampires, but I'm open to it. Next up, I want to read Meant for More by Liza James. So I bought this book at Book Bonanza when I saw Liza James. Absolute sweetest person ever. So I just want to read all of her backlist. And I didn't even know what this one is about. I just know that Cheyenne loves it. And I think I have the rest of Liza James' backlist, except for Frost. I think that's the only one that I don't own by her. And I think this one's MF, but I'm pretty sure now she only writes exclusively sapphic books, which is like what I've read from her and love. So I'm interested to see like an MF romance from her. But yeah, honestly, I don't even know what this is about. I literally just bought it. I didn't even think. I was just like, I'll take it. Thank you. So I want to read it. Next up, again in the theme of revisiting series that I've already, or like familiar things like Leave Me Broken or The Air, is Somebody Else's Sky by Jessica Hawkins. So I read Something in the Way at the end. It was like one of the last books that I read of last year. And I was extremely frustrated by that book because I did not realize, I knew it was a series, but I didn't realize that there's like basically no romance in the first book because the heroine is like 16. Is she 16? And is he, 20, 21? And he's dating her older sister. And I didn't realize that there was no romance between them. And so I was irritated by the end of the first book. I was like, seriously? And like how the first book ended, I was like, are you for real right now? So I was frustrated with the series. So I was like, I'm not going to continue on. But now that I've sat on it, and like the more, like people just keep saying like, you got to keep going on it. So I want to give it another shot and give book 2 a go. And I think it picks up immediately where the first one leaves off. So I'm interested to see like how the timeline goes, especially if with how the first book ended with them in like certain circumstances. I don't really know how, like, are we even going to get to any romance in this book? I don't know. I'm intrigued. I want to pick it back up and jump back into it, but we will see. Next up, okay, I'm actually probably gonna finish this one tonight. Like I said, I'm filming this on July 4th, so like I haven't read a book yet this month, but this one I'm probably gonna finish. This will be the first one for the month, and that's Complicated by Lola Finn. So this one is the 3rd book in the Haven Cove series, and it's a novella, but it's like a decently longer novella. I think it's like around 170 pages, and here's the thing with this one, that it's just like, it's so fun. It's kind of hitting the spot for me right now. This is like High School Musical 2, but for like college kids. So it's like Haven Cove is like Lava Springs for like a rich, wealthy clientele, and then it's like a bunch of hot young college kids who like work there over the summer. So this book specifically follows Ainsley, and she ends up covering her brother's job there for the summer as a lifeguard, and when she arrives, she realizes that she's going to be working with her 2 brothers' best friends, and she is very off limits for them. Like their brother or her brother texted and warned them like, don't go anywhere near my sister, or like keep her in line and like keep, you know, her something intact. And they're like, how are we gonna do that? She's so hot. And it's an MFM novella. It's just fun summer hotness. I don't know what else you want from me. or from it. Then my last two, Pestilence by Laura Thalassa. Again, switching up the genre a little bit. I've had this one on my radar for so long and I haven't read it, and it's a fantasy romance. It's the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, and obviously this one is Pestilence and our hero is Pestilence, and I don't really know how our heroine comes into play. That's that. That's all I got for you for that one. And lastly, I just want to read this one before the movie comes out, and that is A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. I am a huge Hunger Games fan. That was my series that got me into reading. Absolutely love those movies. They always come. I think this one comes out on November 17th, which is the day after my birthday. Growing up, that's what I did every year for my birthday for 4 years in a row, was going to go see the Hunger Games movie. So I'm very excited to have this one coming out this year. And as you can see, I literally started this book when it first came out, and then I never finished it. And I don't know why. I think this did come out right when I had started reading romance, and I was just in the height of my Kindle and reading romances, that this just kind of got pushed to the side. And then also I think there's a part of me that doesn't want to read it and finish it and then know that there's no more Hunger Games material for me to ever read. I think even when I read Mockingjay, that was hard finishing that series and knowing that it was done. So I think I've kind of struggled with picking this up and knowing that then I'll be done. But I want to read it before the movie comes out. And again, I'm thinking that again, familiar world, but different. That might kind of help me break out of my slump being young adult. I haven't read a YA novel in literally a year. I don't even think I've read any last year. So I'm hoping for just some different stuff this month to kind of help pull me out of this heavy slump that I'm in. So anyways, that is it for my July TBR video. Again, sorry that it is a day late, but I hope that you guys yesterday were out spending time with family, friends, pets, anyone. Even if you were just by yourself, I hope you enjoyed your holiday. That is it for today's video, and I will see you when I see ya.